You're listening to the Wilson King Podcast. Run that track.
This episode of the Wilson King Podcast is brought by Wright Live. Need a wedding DJ? Play in a band and looking for gigs or networking? Have a venue that needs an exciting event night? Contact Wright Live for all your wedding, entertainment, band, and DJ needs. We are dedicated to providing the best entertainment, marketing, and production for all your special events. Go to our website at www.wrightliveevents.com, wrightliveevents@gmail.com, or visit us on Facebook at Wright Live.
What's up, everybody? This episode's brought to you by Josh's Man Cave at Total Image Salon. If you're new to the area or just looking for a new barber, go see my friend Josh. He's a wizard with a straight razor and knows his way around a set of clippers and gives a damn good haircut. I should know. I go see him twice a month. If you're of age, he offers you a shot of whiskey or a nice cold brew while he cuts your hair. If you go down and see him, let him know I sent you. What the fuck is up, everybody? We're finally back in studio after a very, 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 very long 2.5 weeks. Got two really good homies of mine with me. Two good Army friends. Known them for years. Finally convinced them to come on the show, even though one of them was begging me as of 4 days ago to come on.
Yeah, on my knees.
We got old Harry Neidig and Brayan Garcia. What's up, fellas?
What's up? Thanks for having us. It's an honor.
You're an honor.
I appreciate that. Glad somebody thinks it.
So I appreciate Yin's coming on very, very last second.
I gotta say, I'm impressed. If I had known, I'd have cleared my whole week if I had known that you had this type of setup going.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
It's well put together. I'm super impressed. You're definitely gonna go places with it, no matter what.
That's all right. Anything as good as it could be.
No doubt.
Always improve, adapt, overcome. What's that mean?
Means never quit.
Hustle.
No,
hit.
meme. The meme.
Uh,
Adapt. Okay, never mind then.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about either. I thought you meant the Army saying that adapt and overcome.
No. I'm too much into the memes.
Excuse me. Too memey.
Too memey. Memester.
Well, anyway, you were gone for 2.5 weeks because you were white selling us.
yeah, I was down there just hanging out in
Fart hood.
Texas.
Texas.
Got me a new tattoo while down there.
That's
Oh,
nice.
really?
Right, really?
Oh,
That's
yeah,
dope.
you showed me the alien one. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On your leg?
Yeah, I got a new tattoo while I was down there. Played a couple holes of golf.
There you go.
And hung out most of the time. Played a lot of PlayStation.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And finally got to see y'all for the first time in like 11 fucking months.
Yeah,
Even though I was supposed to fucking be there, but Army had other plans.
there was a lot of that. We had a troop show up for the bus ride to go to Poland. I told her family goodbye and everything, and then found out she wasn't on the right list.
Oh, Ujaku.
Ojaku, yeah, OJ. She showed up, and then she's like, and they're like, all right, everybody on this list, get on the buses. And she's like, my name's on the list. And like, yeah, your name's on the list. You're not going. She's like, what? She probably sold her house. You know what I mean? Like, it's a good thing she's a kid because don't have much assets, I guess, waiting on her.
So, know that before we started recording, we were doing a good bit of talking about trauma. Good old trauma.
Capital T.
The good old mental health crisis. And that's something that holds near and dear to my heart. I don't know if you know this or not, but like every episode I put out has the suicide like the suicide hotline at the bottom of it. All the info, like the website, the number you can text, the number to call, blah, 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 everything. And I also bring on every so often people to talk about mental health. I've had 3 Army buddies on. I've had a friend of mine who is getting ready to graduate with her bachelor's in psychology. And so mental health holds a near and dear place to my heart, which I know we're getting deep very fucking fast.
We've already gotten there for the most part before you got
Yeah.
before we even started recording.
But how granted, you guys haven't been home that long. I mean, it's been a couple of days, so it's got to be somewhat like anxiety ridden, like being out of the hands of the military for even the little bit amount of time you guys have been back.
You want to start off with it?
But no, you can.
Yeah. Well, I'll start off with a disclaimer, where all three of us are in the reserves in this deployment. If you're in the military, you know the difference between like a combat deployment and a non-combat deployment. It was a non-combat deployment. It was a mobilization in Europe, Poland specifically. Didn't really do a whole lot, honest to God. I signed up for like a good old purpose, do the best I can, serve my country, and it ended up just not being that.
Not fulfilling
at all whatsoever.
the goals, your dream.
No, definitely not. I mean, I've had harder part-time jobs. I'm more demand. Like working at Chick-fil-A was more demanding than what happened. But yeah, no. I mean, we both went through a pretty significant life-changing experiences individually, but we were good friends beforehand, and it just brought us closer. And coming home, we both came back to completely different worlds. We'll talk about each one, but I mean, I'll tell you what. Today is the first day we were able to link up since we got back on Thursday, and today we went to the gym. I took way too much caffeine for no reason whatsoever. I have an issue. I have a bigger issue with caffeine than I do with alcohol. And alcohol is what got me into so much trouble in Poland. We'll talk about that in a second, I guess. But no, today we both worked out. I got sick between the anxiety and the caffeine. And then we went like an hour later to go to Chipotle. And we were both like, his resting heart rate was 104. And mine was 92, and it's typically 70. Like I'm an athlete. Like it's typically above average below average rather. And we were sitting there barely eating our burritos. We were there for like an hour. Yeah. One step at a time. And I'll let him go ahead and comment on it.
It was just mainly the anxiety. I didn't realize how bad anxiety can just affect your body. Cause like I know my body's hungry. I know my body needs fuel, but like legit, my stomach's just so turned upside down just because of the anxiety.
There used to be a stigma that I would kind of fall into where like and some people can say it's political and it's not, you know what I mean? But necessarily anyway. But I grew up with kind of like the stigma that like some people who claim to have depression and anxiety are exaggerating it or don't actually have it or aren't suffering from anything like that. And I wouldn't say necessarily that I dismissed everybody who said they had it, but I didn't have a respect for it. My mom was bipolar, so I kind of had a taste of what depression was like and how it could affect people's lives. But the anxiety is really just something that I just did not respect at all. Like, I felt like I had anxiety just because I was super energetic and I would always feel like left out. And so that's really what I thought it was basically just like severe nervousness. And it's just not. It's way different. It's a completely different beast. And I got so much respect for it now, 100%.
Anxiety is a bitch.
Bro.
110%. I mean, my anxiety isn't like it comes from different sectors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like a lot of it's just doesn't hit me until I'm getting ready to go to sleep.
Right.
Or I'm getting ready to just chillax for the evening, and then like my mind just like, not tonight, homie.
Yeah.
And then I'm awake till midnight, 1 a.m. I mean, shoot, that whole time I was out there with you guys at Hood, I don't think there was too many nights that I was asleep before midnight, 1 o'clock, and then we were up, 6 in the morning. There was also nights where I didn't sleep, so I came down to the barracks to like watch you guys like go off, like watch you guys go and leave, make sure y'all left okay, and do turn-ins for this and that, and kind of sucked. I mean, I know certain assholes like, yo, thanks for doing it, and I'm like,
you did a good job.
I was like, bro, I just couldn't sleep. Like,
it was bad for me too in Hood. Not to mention the jet lag, 6-hour difference. I mean, leaving was horrific. We came back at like a day and a half late. This doesn't even feed into the anxiety, but basically, like in a 48-hour period, we had maybe 5 hours in a bed. And the rest of it was like 18 to 24 hours on a plane, like packed like sardines. It was definitely rough. And then adjusting back to the jet lag and trying to sleep on top of the anxiety that we were already facing.
For me, I didn't have a problem. getting back into the schedule. I slept better the entire time. I mean, these last few days than I did in Poland. But what got me was that I was excited to go home. Like, I felt genuine excitement, but I've got used to just feeling this anxiety that I confused the two. So I'm like, why am I anxious? Why do I have so much anxiety? It's like, oh, it's not anxiety, it's excitement. But now, I guess it's hard to differentiate getting like a fast heart rate and feeling nervous about things or whatever with anxiety. For me right now, it's a little confusing. So,
Do you guys ever feel like with anxiety nowadays, right? Because everyone deals with it, but anxiety is different for everybody. I've had this theory that some of the things that people turn to thinking it's anxiety is just uneasiness instead of like being anxious about something. And like I'll catch myself every fucking time I'm like, something ain't right. And I'll sit there and I'll actually think about like, am I actually anxious or am I just nervous? Or because like if you think about it, like anxiety is also nervousness too at the same time. And it's something that's always like the human mind blows my mind. Like, I should have went to school for psychology, but here I am with a high school diploma talking about shit that I'm not a professional about. It's just from personal experience. But it's just because I've watched a lot of stuff where people are like, our generation doesn't really feel like they try to say like we feel anxiety, but it's not what we make it out to be, because, you know, hard times create hard people create easy times create soft people. And like I listen to a lot of Jordan Peterson too. So dude, Jordan Peterson's the GOAT.
No, absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned him early on, because I would love to reflect on my personal, I'm sure he will too, but my personal experience and what his talks and books. We read both. Well, he hasn't gotten to the second book because I took a while to finish the first one, but we have both of their books, both of his books, the 12 Rules for Life and then 12 More Rules for Life, Chaos, or was it Antidote to Chaos, and then the second one's Beyond Order. And it was definitely, I mean, I've never been a reader. And you talk about degrees in psychology. I actually, my bachelor degree is in Regent Bachelor of Arts, Human Services, which is like sociology, psychology, all those other like human ologies, you will, not necessarily scientific. But I was studying psychology up until my last semester, and there's just one class that I just could not pass. Oh, I could have if I really applied myself, but I wasn't very studious. I was married at the time, extremely happily, I thought, and dedicated to a lot of my hobbies and stuff like that. So I just had other priorities at the time, and the degree was just so I could use it later. Like, I wasn't real like hung up on my education or anything. Like, it wasn't a priority of mine. So I just decided to go ahead and take the easy route and sub out for this kind of like general degree as well. But yeah, no, I'm significantly trained in psychology, I guess.
My bad. I got nothing.
Fuck me then, I guess. No, but like the how I found out about Jordan Peterson was literally because of Joe Rogan. How I find out about most people is because of Joe Rogan. Because I watch the fuck out of Joe Rogan. And it's not because it's like, oh, Joe Rogan, blah, blah. It's because Joe Rogan brings on guests that isn't just one-sided guests. They're not just right-leaning, left-leaning, in the middle. Like, and they talk about more than, like, they talk about everything. Like, I watched this dude who's running for governor in California that's trying to clean up the homeless problem. And Ted Nugent was on there, and Jocko Willink, and fucking Tim Kennedy, the guys who own Black Rifle Coffee Company. Matt Best was on there, and he brings on all these awesome, very eccentric characters that it's hard not to watch it. And that's how I found out about Jordan Peterson.
Same with me. That's how I first. I also watched Joe Rogan, but probably not as much as you. But when Jordan Peterson was on, I was just very intrigued on like the mindset or what he was preaching, basically. How men now need more order in their lives. And I think that's very, very true. I was telling Neidig earlier that we're right now in a pivotal point in our life where we need to be making a step forward to progress our futures. Because if we don't, and we just become stagnant, just become comfortable. Like if I go back to Target and I just stay at Target for the rest of my life, I know I'm going to regret that. So I'm going to have to take that step where I think I'm a little scared to take a step, like go into not like a HVAC field where like that I might fail at, you know what I mean? But he said, Jordan Peterson, is that if you're not scared to take that step, then you're probably like not doing it right, or you're still stagnated.
Change is the scariest thing ever. Like, I mean, I love the job I do now. I get to travel, see a lot of the country, but I want more. Like, I want to be home. I want to be here sleeping in my own bed every night. I want to be able to go out to like Taco Tuesday at the local bar, or start playing in a golf league, or play in a slow pitch softball league, or recreationally play ultimate frisbee, or like do anything recreational. But where I travel all the time, I can't. And I've had job opportunities. I've had jobs put in front of me that's like, hey, you might take a little bit of a pay cut. But my mind, I didn't jump on it because I'm like, what if I fail and then I'm out of job? How the fuck am I going to pay for my house? How am I going to pay for this? How am I going to pay for that? Blah, 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 blah. And now I'm stagnant still because I'm still at this job. And what was that look for?
Nah, I don't know, man. I think what you have set up right here is, I wouldn't call it dynamic, you know what I mean? But I mean, this is commitment. Like, this is different. Like, I play rec ultimate frisbee, you know what I mean? I've never made a dime. Like, the only time I've ever won a cash prize, it didn't even cover the cost to get there. Like, it is never. I know you may not be shooting for the stars right now and hoping to live off of this one day, you know what I mean? And you were just talking about your crypto. Like, I know you said you only needed to get the 10 cents, as if it's like, I'm talking like it's going to happen. You know what I mean? No, that's not what I'm saying. But I mean, like you've discovered a passion and you're taking it, you know what I mean? And I think what we're talking about, like falling stagnant, is like not necessarily with your job and income. You don't have to make six figures in like an actual position, you know what I mean? But find something you're passionate about and do it and dedicate to it and make it better every time you do it. And I feel like that's what you're doing with this. You know, like, obviously this is my first time. I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen a single episode. I've seen your clips. I watch your TikToks because those are short, you know what I mean? But no, bro, you're finding a passion and you're chasing for it. And I think that's the important part. And I was telling him before, when he said that earlier today, about how we're in a pivotal step, and that he said something that he didn't say just now. He says, it's so easy to be nothing. It's so easy to do nothing. And I said, my response was, I think nothing is inevitable. If you don't take the next step, it doesn't necessarily have to be intentional. It doesn't even have to be in a certain direction. But I feel like it's inevitable. I mean, oblivion is inevitable, like no matter what happens. But it's so easy in your own lifetime to become nothing and do nothing if you don't take the next step. And this is like, I know you may not feel like it's the most impactful thing ever, or that you may not make six figures off of it, bro. Like, you never know what happens, you know. But this is good, bro. Don't think that you're I don't think you're stagnating anyway, or stagnant.
I get where you're coming from, but like in my mind, I'm very critical on myself, like way too critical on myself sometimes, and so like whenever I'm talking about me being stagnant, I talk all the time about how I hate to travel. I hate being away from family and friends and blah. You know, the typical thing that I've talked to you guys about, like even down in Texas, you know what I mean? And that's what I mean by stagnant. Like, I'm afraid to take that leap into a new career path to get me home more. You're one ballsy motherfucker, dude. And this is never his tooth breaks.
Right here on camera, right?
But nah, man. I mean, stagnant is a philosophy for me that I feel like sometimes I'm just floating through life because I'm comfortable in a position instead of putting myself in that harder. You know, I've got to make something out of this career path because this is what I left my job for. It's the ice machine.
I couldn't tell what that was. I was like cat falling downstairs, someone knocking on the door. I don't know what it was.
I would say that that you're less. You might feel stagnant. But maybe you're stagnating now, and you need to make steps to keep furthering what you want to do. But I would say like not wanting to travel, not wanting to do all that stuff. Like if you don't really want to do it, you don't. I don't think being stagnant applies to like not wanting to travel and not wanting to try like a new job, even though like you're doing this. So I'm just a little confused.
Okay, so the reason I say I'm stagnant is because I'm afraid to take that leap into a new career path. I've had the opportunities presented to me to go into a new career path.
Where are you working now?
See that white truck out there?
Yeah.
That's where I'm working now.
Yeah, but what is that? Like,
you want the dumbed down version or the legit version?
I'm gonna give me whatever you want to give me.
Do you want the dumbed down version or the legit version?
I want the dumbed down version.
I'm a professional hole stretcher.
Pause.
It's a good thing I'm sitting down right now. What?
I'm a professional hole stretcher.
What kind of holes are we talking about here?
So I do metal coil and paper roll restoration.
Yeah, I liked hole stretcher way better. What was that?
Okay, so I travel around to like paper mills, printing facilities, steel mills, aluminum mills, template mills.
It's like metal. Show about metal holes.
Metal or rolls of paper like Quad Graphics over in Martinsburg.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Like I go in, if it gets out of round, I use hydraulics. I make the whole round again so that they can run it.
All right, I hear you. So, are you saying? So you're a fan of Jordan Peterson, so you've probably heard this talk that he said before. You know, he says if you feel like you desire change, growth, development, whatever, he said you can always ask yourself. You know, you really sit down and think like, what is something about my life that I could change, that I would change? And so if you're feeling like you're stagnating, is that because there's something that you would change or you could change? Like this, you talk about this new career opportunity. Are you saying that you feel like you should take it and therefore, but you're afraid to do it?
Yes. What would be the new career?
Yeah, can you talk about what the new career is?
career opportunity.
Oh, I was going to P&G.
I don't know what P&G is.
Procter & Gamble.
Oh, okay. I know buddies who work there.
Yeah. But then in my mind, their work schedule isn't my ideal work schedule because it's that short swing shift.
Isn't it like 2 days day shift, 2 days off, 2 days night shift, some stuff like that?
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm a morning person. Like, I would rather go to work at 5 in the morning and be off by 3, 4 in the afternoon
Hell yeah.
than just be going to work at 5 in the afternoon.
Nah, I hear you.
And I know that my body couldn't deal with that, and I'd be afraid to leave a job that I'm good at. I've got job security, and then go to a new career, not be so good at it, not perform as well as they would like me to perform, and within 2-3 months, fuck, now I'm job hunting again.
So what's your goal then? So what's P&G going to give you towards whatever your goal is?
That this job isn't giving you.
Exactly, yeah. Because if it's nothing and it's just more money and that's not necessarily a strong goal of yours.
It's home every night. I sleep in my bed every night.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
you go like when
dude, I'm on the road Monday through Friday. I
Gotcha.
I only get home Friday evening to Monday morning, and then I'm back out on the road.
So then what is P&G offering you that makes you feel like you should take it?
that he would be home at night.
Oh,
Here.
I thought you meant your
Yeah.
job currently. Oh, I know.
No. So I'd be home every night. I'd be able to work on this here in studio, every day.
No, I hear you. Okay, so now I see what you're saying. I don't want to say fear of failure.
Oh, it is fear of failure.
Okay, cool. I didn't want to put those words in your mouth.
110% fear of failure.
Bro, I gotta tell you a story.
Tell us a story.
You remember me telling you about Glory Days?
Mm-hmm.
When I was serving?
Yeah.
So this is gonna tie into. This is how we'll start my development arc. You know, my divorce arc and all this other shit. So for the backstory for y'all who don't know, I'm gonna keep her name out of it. I don't want to cause a war. It's still pretty fresh, less than a year of the divorce and whatnot, and I want her to be able to live her own life. And we have peace now, and I want to keep it. You know, so basically, I started dating my high school sweetheart at 16. My first real serious girlfriend. Like I had a couple others, you know, but like nothing super serious. I only kissed maybe 3 girls before her or something like that. You know, so she's the only woman I've ever been with, as I'm a faithful Christian. I didn't wait to marriage the earthly sense, but on our own spiritual understanding, you know, whatever. But anyway, so we started dating right when I was 16, basically immediately after my sophomore year. And we quickly became like the town's like not prime couple, but I guess like most popular, well-known couple, longest lasting.
I would say that like I was expecting only your relationship to come out alive.
From the deployment. That's what we were saying.
Perfect. Like if I picture like a perfect relationship, a perfect Christian relationship, I imagine you guys.
And I appreciate that because I worked really hard and I did a lot of shit to make sure that I kept that. You know, you know how I steer clear from drugs, from like strong negative party scenes. All the girls, I got no friends that are girls, bro, unless they're lesbian or like army coworkers who I know like
basically the perfect. Like husband, perfect husband.
I mean, yeah, like I definitely tried she was my number one priority, but that was also the issue. But yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
So what about Glory Days?
Yeah, so Glory Days. So basically, we started dating, straight into high school. Started high school. She was 2 years above me, so she was her senior year when we started dating. I joined Army Reserves right after college. Right after high school, and everywhere we worked ever since we met, we worked together. We literally went from Chick-fil-A to my parents' pizza shop that we owned for a while. And then from there, we went to Glory Days. And this was our first serving job. And Glory Days is a fantastic chain restaurant. I highly recommend it. I had a great time there, despite what I'm about to tell you. And I'll say we joined Glory Days right after we got married as well. And before we got married, I'll tell you, and I swear by it, we had a beautiful relationship. And I can look back at those days now. And for the most part, despite a little bit of doubt, which I'll explain later, it was a beautiful relationship, and we loved each other fully to the best of our abilities, and I got nothing that I could take away from that as of right now, but I don't have a full picture. But as soon as after we got married, she literally shipped for basic like 2 weeks after. She joined the reserves too, and when she got back from basic training, obviously that's a life-changing development, you know. And and just like me, she really only ever dated me. She wasn't allowed to date until she was pushing 18, and I had to ask her parents' permission, you know. And each household their own, you know. I get it, you know. I'm not trying to judge or anything. She had wonderful parents, and they raised her well to the best of their abilities. They adopted her, you know. So it only goes to show, like, they shot their best, and they're obviously not to blame for whatever has happened. But Glory Days, I'm kind of an idiot. Not to take from that InfoWars guy, but yeah, like he said, I'm kind of retarded. You know what I mean? Like, literally, like that gif, whatever.
Listen, guys, I'm kind of retarded.
Yo, no, literally, you could go ahead and gift that in there. I'm kind of retarded. No, literally, it's just multitasking is not a skill of mine under any capacity, and it'll display itself in any situation. I had a negligent discharge. My only ever negligent discharge with a gun was when I was talking to some buddies on Discord. I'd had a beer or two, and I was just cleaning it, whatever. Negligent discharge in my buddy's basement. It is the most shameful experience I've ever had in my life. I don't mind sharing it because that's part of the reason why she uses that as an example to describe why she left me. You know, that's what she's telling some people.
Can I ask a dumb question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Why were you cleaning a loaded weapon?
Well, that's because I before I started cleaning it, I went to go and empty the mag. I guess I did shit backwards, but like I was doing so many fucking things that I just didn't give it the proper focus. And I had just gotten the gun. It only had it for like 6 months. And this is for young gun owners. You have got to learn the discipline, and you've got to have people who are more responsible. You got to know if you're responsible enough for it. And I just wasn't. I realistically wasn't. I wasn't responsible enough to have that gun unsupervised. And I was an adult. And it hurts for me to say that, through the internet. But I was not ready. And I made a mistake. And I paid for it. I shot out the window as the baseman, so a higher trajectory. Thankfully, nobody got hit. Nobody got hurt. Whatever. It was the middle of the night. Woke up the whole house, including my wife, roommate, people who own the house, everything. It was horrific. I lost. No, absolutely, yeah.
Luckily, yeah.
Yeah, no, I learned for it for sure. And luckily, nothing serious happened. I paid for a window and then embarrassment. But
let's get to
glory days.
Yeah,
yeah, my
days.
bad. All right.
Yeah.
Tangent over. So glory days. Multitasking's trash. Most servers or anybody else knows that serving is actually a pretty difficult task, and Glory Days was the busiest restaurant in town over here in Ranson. Oh, I'm serious. And I know, I'll tell people all the times, like, you don't have it. And they think just because you're a people person and you're friendly that you'll do good at it. And sure, you'll do good at it like a country little, like, mom and pop shop. But if you go to a big chain restaurant like Glory Days, you're going to get your ass handed to you. That's exactly what happened.
Pause.
So we get there. It's 2 weeks of training. And training seems just fine because most of the training is you talking to the customers, and then they do all the rest of the work for you. And the rest of the work was what kicked my ass, is putting work in correctly, or putting the food in correctly to the right table in a timely manner, and also matching up, getting the drinks and all this other shit, whatever. Fast forward, 2 weeks training over, we hit the floor for the first week. Ashley. Oh, dang, I said her name. All right, well, my ex's name is Ashley. Ashley kicked ass. She kicked ass. First week, she's top of the matrix, which is like broke down who was making the business the most money. Top of the matrix. Me, bottom. Dead bottom. And the next best wasn't close.
Trash.
It was garbage. For the next 3 months, I was the worst server that Glory Days has ever witnessed ever. And the only reason, no one's ever told me, but the only reason why they kept me on was because I was married to the hot piece of ass who was killing it. Taking names and whatnot. But basically what I'm saying is a failure. We made the most money. That was the most money we made ever. It changed our lives. We were able to buy a second car. We were able to do a lot. We traveled. We went to go see the Grand Canyon and stuff like that. A bunch of other stuff. We paid off our debt from the honeymoon and stuff like that. It changed our life. We got to meet new people. We really developed as an individual. It allowed me to grind, get better at something that I wasn't naturally good at. It was the first time I had faced real adversity in my life. This came paired with other stuff. So before I get back to the first time she cheated on me, I'll let you know. I'll let you guys respond and talk about the growth.
Well, we went into that fucking headstrong. Yeah. But, I mean, dude, I've noticed the growth in you. And I've known you since you joined the fucking Army. I've known you for a hot minute.
And that was an embarrassing diversity change too,
Dude, I mean, shit. I think I'd been in a few years ahead of you. I mean, we're all around the same age. But I also joined whenever I was still a junior in high school.
Damn, a junior?
Yeah, bro. I've been in since I was 17.
Damn. So split ups? Is that what you did?
Worst mistake of my life.
Really? You didn't like it?
No, bro, because So you all know how basic is, right? You go to basic, they break you
Never
down.
Been.
You kind of, I guess you do lose like two summers. Two summers.
Yeah,
and that's like
you lose two summers.
Your last high school summer.
Yeah, like I lost the summer between my junior and senior year, and I lost the summer after I graduated. And then on top of it, though, basic, they break you down, turn you into what the Army wants you to be, blah 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 blah, and so imagine going back to high school with that soldier mentality, and then you're getting back into the civilian world, and then you have a whole year of that being back in the civilian world, and then you get thrown right back into fucking the military life, and you have to do it without a skip.
You see, Wisnit, it's kind of he's a high speed soldier, I would say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
Yeah. It's like the go-to guy for a lot of things. Better than a lot of sergeants, I hear that. I would admit. But
we're not talking about one in particular or anything like that. But
he is he's the kind of person that he did not skip that beat. But I would say he's also like how would I say, not a nerd, but
you mean like he wears the uniform when he's not wearing the uniform type thing. Yeah, like Army.
You know what I mean?
He truly became the Army, you know?
Yeah, well, I think he was truly the Army before. But, like, then again, I don't think that's everybody. I think Wisnit's kind of unique in that that sense.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, right, the reason the reserves get such a bad rap is because of how relaxed the reserves is.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, but,
I know what you're talking about, but think about
it's
it,
true.
right?
No, but it's true. The PT standards and whatnot. Yeah,
PT standards. The fact that, I mean, you got some units where they're hardcore, like, oh, you got to go to parade rest for every. Yeah. But look at the unit we're all in together. How many times have you went to parade rest for an NCO just going up and asking them a question, or get caught in the side fire of not saying, hey, Sergeant, or this, that, the other, just saying, hey, McVeigh, or hey, fucking Joe Schmo, or whatever.
I did not call Sergeant McVeigh. Like, I fucked up so many times, especially through text and whatnot. You yelled at me. You said, hey, bro, you got to start doing that. And
we had 2 different Article 15 procedures that obviously have multiple meetings with your acting first sergeant. And, like, we were, like, obviously he was an E7, you know, so sergeant first class. So, you know, it was... I still don't even know if we officially had to call him first sergeant or top, but it was still out of respect. You would definitely call him first sergeant or top, whatever. This dude wouldn't even call him sergeant. He's saying, like, yeah, and he just kind of like ghosted over his eyes. He wasn't even, like, even the sober conversations, just like, I had to leave. I was like, bro, you have got to start saying sir and first sergeant. They didn't care. They never once corrected him.
But that's what I'm talking about with the reserves.
It's true.
I mean,
it's true.
Really,
you're right.
I mean, I went to that MP unit and literally was telling soldiers, like, listen, if it's just us in a room, I'm Wilson. I'm not Sergeant Wilson. I'm Wilson. I put my pants on the same way you do. I've just been in a little bit longer than you, and I went to a couple more schools than you have. Like, but that's just my mentality, because I'm I believe anyone who's went through basic and AIT and all that, we're all equals. It doesn't matter if you're fresh or if you've been in for 15, 20 years. In my honest opinion, we're equals, because we all put our pants on the same way every fucking day.
I got just a sidetrack from that. I believe that people should, I believe in God, and under Him we are all equals, and I think that really allows me to not think of myself better than anybody.
Like, humble yourself.
Yeah, humble. Like I go into the room expecting everybody else to know more than me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then sometimes people don't, and I think they're idiots, and then I get if I'm not drunk, I like keep it to myself. But if I am drunk, I get into situations where I burn bridges because I want to debate every aspect of what they believe in, and I believe that they're wrong.
You do that?
I mean,
No way.
I mean, that's also playing devil's advocate.
Oh my God, I played that.
Bro, you have no idea.
Yeah, I'd be fighting, like...
He'll fight himself. I'm not playing. He does it himself. He does it about everything. And sometimes, and he noticed it towards halfway through the mob. He would literally be like...
We took this personality test, and it was the 16th personality test based off of the Myers and Briggs, whatever it is.
So you're narcissistic?
No,
I'm fucking with you. I'm kidding.
No, go ahead.
It's the debater personality, and it said, basically what you said, devil's advocate. It said,
you're quarrelsome fun.
It said, you would play devil's advocate even though you do not believe at all about the ideas you're saying, and that's what I do. And also, quarrelsome fun. I just love debating. I just love exploring new ideas and how people think, how their mind works. So I'm trying to hit them with different things and test their limits. But a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people are, I would say, emotional, and it burns bridges.
I do the same thing. I am very good at it. Like, if it wouldn't have been for the fact that I'm the one that brought up Jordan Peterson, and you guys would have been like, bro, everything Jordan Peterson says is fucking awesome, I would have looked at you and been like, dude, Jordan Peterson don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
But there are plenty of things that he talks about he doesn't.
No, but
yeah, I know what you mean.
But what I mean is you could come to me and be like, It's a very, very, very hot topic.
Abortion.
Boom. You could come
Fuck
to me and be like, abortion's wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Me, personally, I believe the same thing. But just for the sake of conversation, I'd look at you and be like, what's it matter what someone does with their body?
And honestly, and even if you say all abortions are wrong, right? Like, and that's hypothetically, let's say that's my position, right? There's still bad situations for that. You know what I mean? And they need to be acknowledged. Doesn't necessarily mean policy needs to change for it, but they need to be acknowledged that it creates issues.
110%.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's where the devil advocate comes in.
Yeah, because how can if we're sitting here having a conversation and we agree 100% on everything that's being said, how's a conversation going to be had if you don't have someone who's sitting there and trying to keep the conversation rolling by trying to get what your actual idea is? I mean, granted, we've had a lot of arguments on this show because of me playing devil's advocate.
And also, where's the growth? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And
if you cannot, my bad.
No, go ahead.
If you cannot back up your ideology and you're just like, this, I feel like this is my opinion just because I feel this way, and you have nothing, not factual to back it up. Well, factual too, but like you haven't really dove deep in why you have that opinion, especially in something like so controversial as an abortion.
Share your vegetarian coworker story.
Vegetarian.
So we went out to me and my coworkers. We went out to Applebee's and we were just having a fun time or whatever. And my friend, she said she's a vegetarian, and I was like, "Oh, why is that?" And she's like, "Oh, she said we as humans did not evolve to eat meat." And I was kind of drunk at the time, and I was like, I really think you're wrong, but I'm drunk at the moment, so I'm gonna get back to you later. And me being a debater, I legit went over and did some research, and I saw two papers. One basically was from a vegan saying that okay, so the first one I read was vegan, and then another one I read was but both of them supported that we did indeed evolve to eat meat. And but the vegan said, but now we have so many supplements available to us that we really don't need to eat meat like that or whatever. So I brought that up to her. I said, hey, I did my research and I found two sides of the argument or whatnot, but both of them agreed that like we did evolve to eat meat. And then she's like, oh well, she's like, actually, I just feel bad for the animals. And I'm like, why didn't you say that instead of like trying to be pretentious? You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm a vegan because like I know
better than you.
Yeah, I know better than you. It's like, nah.
And what are you gonna do? Tell her, oh, animals don't get hurt when they get slaughtered. Yeah.
So I was just like, I was trying to test, like that in itself is just me trying to test your ideals, and yeah, it's my bad. Lost.
So I'm not a vegetarian. I'm not a vegan, but I also do my best to get my meat from locally sourced.
Right.
God damn it.
Yeah.
But like I try my best to get my meat from locally sourced places because they're not inhumane about the slaughter of things
and the storage and
the storage and the upbringing.
No, for sure.
And so I do my best to get it, but also Food Line, Walmart, and Martin's is very convenient,
honestly.
And that's where the catch-22 is do you go for convenience and price, or do you go and get higher priced stuff because it's more humane? Like I'm a hunter. I'll say that 100%. I hunt. I don't fish as much as I used to, but I bow hunt. I don't rifle hunt that much. But I hunt, and in my opinion, as long as you put a good shot on an animal, it's humane. And if you put a bad shot on an animal, and you go and you do what you can to take it out of its misery because you fucked up and gut shot it, or you fucked up and hit it in its leg and blew its one leg off.
Damn.
Instead of letting it bleed out, you go and you do whatever you got to do to humanely take that animal
Right.
out of its misery because you fucked up and made a bad shot.
Yeah.
But there is humane ways to do it, heart shot, hitting the major organs, because, I mean, 9 times out of 10, if you double lung and heart shot it, it's dead before it ever hits the ground.
No, right.
But that's humane. I mean, some of the ways they kill cows
Right.
with the nail gun, not the most humane, but it's better than slitting their throat and letting them bleed out.
Yeah. And on the other side of that is I've seen there's a comedian he was talking about it. He makes fun of Daniel Sloss, one of my favorite comedians. We've watched his bit before. He's the one about the sister with cerebral palsy, and you don't know she dies until like halfway through or whatever. But she's been dead for like 15 years. You remember?
I don't know.
No, whatever. So Daniel Sloss, fantastic guy. He's got 2 specials on Netflix. I highly recommend anybody check it out if you haven't seen it. But he talks about, he has one bit where he just shits on vegans, and he literally makes a comparison between saying that arguably vegans are better than the pedophiles are better than vegans, and he makes a joke saying because you can take a pedophile out to eat more to more places, like to more restaurants or whatever. He says, I'd have to keep an eye on them, but I could take them out. But what he says, but what nobody tells you about vegans is, or what you don't hear about why you should be vegan is not, the animal's name is Betsy and she had feelings and kids or whatever. It's that, and he goes through a list of statistics that I have never seen before or ever heard before. It's like apparently the amount of land that's dedicated to the slaughter of beef and like to the harvesting of beef, not the milk, but the beef, is, if you replaced it with any other, or realistically any other vegetable or fruit, it would solve world hunger. If the amount of water that goes into produce a single chicken, for the sake of its chicken, not the eggs, you would save like the water crisis in the world. I don't know how you would get water that is down in Arkansas over to like Africa and stuff like that. I don't know necessarily how it is, but basically those are the statistics that would sway me to consider, vegetarian and vegan, and it's just not what I see in most of those ads.
I feel like they're like that's plausible. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you add up all the numbers and whatnot, you can not realistically, you could fix a problem. Like you could fix world hunger. You can
Theoretically.
Thank you. That's the word. You could theoretically do this, but in practice, I think that's a whole different beast that no one really talks about.
It's never been attempted.
Yeah, and everybody says it's never been attempted, but like, I feel like it's a lot harder.
No, for sure.
I feel like it's a lot harder to do that stuff.
And to say that not, if we didn't water chickens, if we didn't feed them water, that all of a sudden everybody would have clean water on planet Earth and they would solve. No, it's obviously talking about in terms of figures. If we could somehow magically transport that water. So it's not necessarily an argument to sacrifice one for the other. It's just more or less to show the figures. Mm-hmm. But nobody knows that figures. You know what I mean?
I heard. Well, when I heard about cows, not chickens. So I'm gonna do some research on that.
Yeah, I wish I had the actual stats. Probably shouldn't have brought it up without the link.
What was that? Hey, Jamie, pull that up.
Son of a bitch. You're going to make me actually work this show. God damn it. No, I mean, even if you think about it, right? Look at all the bottled water that is sold in the United States.
The plastic.
The bottle. Like, I do my best to recycle.
Yeah.
But, convenience sometimes doesn't allow people, especially out here.
I was about to say, you're the sticks, bro.
Yeah. But if
you're
not,
up and down this damn mountain.
Well, I'm not even talking about like the plastic. I'm talking about the amount of bottled water that you can go to Walmart and get right now. You could, if you take every single one of those bottles, right? There's probably at least a couple thousand bottles in Walmart right now. Take all that and ship it to Africa. I'm not saying that it's going to give water to everybody, but think of all the Walmarts that are in the United States.
Yeah.
Think of all the food lines. Think of all the Save-A-Lots, Martins, Y's, H-E-B's, whatever your chain fucking grocery store is. Think of all that water that we can just run to the store and get. If we really, really, really wanted to. I try to drink out of a Brita pitcher. I try not to drink too much bottled water because the plastic's bad for you.
Everything's bad for you now these days.
Yo, metal.
Ramen noodles bad for you, and that's my weakness, bro. Alcohol, well, I fucking know that's bad for me. Can't stop that shit.
But what I'm saying, though, is, you know, we talk about the water shortages in other countries. Well, obviously, Africa has a fucking water shortage. It's mostly fucking desert.
Yeah.
Not saying that they deserve because they live someplace to fucking dehydrate. But I know for a fact, anytime that I see something that's like, hey, for every so many dollars spent on this online store, you buy a bottle of water for someone in Africa, or you supply water here, whatever. Dude, I donate a fuck ton of money throughout the year just because of that roundup and donate to this or, you know, whatever these small things are. And I mean, if there'd be a way to like irrigate Africa to like get more water into them, I'd fucking invest my life fucking savings into it.
And it's funny you say that, because there was a charity I worked with or for, not really, I didn't get paid for it, but I did a campaign called Charity Water in high school. And there's a couple other ones. I try to remember the other one that I sold bracelets for or whatever. I was super big into charity. And the water crisis can literally be solved with these type of drills and whatever they have. Basically, this company has a figure that it gives out, or this charity rather. Charity Water says for every $20 you buy that you donate to this company, you buy a permanent clean water source for an individual in a third world country or somewhere else on planet Earth for the rest of their life. And that's effectively saving it because of the other figures that they give. Like, it's like 1 out of 6 die before they're 10, you know, and even if they don't, their life expectancy is destroyed because of the cleanliness of their water or whatnot. And what they do is, among other systems, but the most common one is they take this huge drill and they train one local or a team of locals that can maintain it to a certain extent, and they keep up the maintenance over the X amount of years or whatever. But they keep this drill maintained, and they just go down as far down as they need to go. And I'm sure there are some places that's not necessarily applicable, but they have other things for those areas that are like horrifically barren, you know. But that's what they do. They drill, and it's amazing to see. I wish we had a Jamie to pull it up and show it. But if anybody wants to look, charity:water.org. I mean, it's a phenomenal company, and that's where it is. So basically, I was saying, contrary to just shipping water bottles over, you know what I mean? That it's these type of companies that come up with permanent solutions. That's really what we need, honestly.
Oh, dude, 100%. I mean, you know, think about living here in the United States. We got it fucking made.
USA. My bad. I love
that. But we've got it fucking made here. I mean, granted, we have a lot of things that can be changed. But
of course,
we live in we don't have a food shortage. We don't have a water shortage. I mean, some places go through droughts where you got to watch how much water you use.
Like Flint, Michigan, you know, where they were poisoned for years. Yeah, I think crazy. I heard the other day, I saw an article, I think they still are in certain places. Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, unless you can't fucking afford it, which is also a crisis in this country of the poverty line and all that, but for the most part, we are very, 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 very blessed living in a country like the United States.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's countries that got it way fucking worse than we do. Now, am I saying that the USA is perfect? No, I'm not saying that.
We're not even saying that their problems are worse or better than our problems.
Yeah.
You know, it's just different.
It's very different. Fuck, I forgot where I was going with that.
My bad.
But
water.
No, but
damn,
you know, it's just, and a lot of people take advantage of how well things are here. I mean, can we make a change in other places? Fuck yeah, we can make a change in other places without even ever going there.
Right.
And
think about Ukraine. Like, we're not even talking about humanitarian issues right now. You know what I mean? Think about Ukraine. I can't even comment on what our theater did to help, you know, in Ukraine. I'm not. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not. But like that, we gave them aid. Not we, my unit. I'm saying like the U.S., NATO gave them aid overnight. overnight. I made a joke. We had to put up posts for our second Article 15 for the permanent signs that get put up in our base over there in Poland, and we only had 2 shitty shovels that I broke both of them in the first hole, like in the first go around. Meanwhile, we got Ukraine missiles overnight, you know what I mean? And I couldn't get a third shovel, you know, to save our lives. So we're digging these 3-foot, 4-foot holes with just the shovel heads, you know what I mean? But no, but you're right. I mean, the USA's capability of impacting the rest of the world, especially through our military avenues, bro.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I mean, not even just the USA. I'm talking about, you know, if as a world we got together, as a world,
Right.
you know, China, Japan, Australia, the US, France, Germany, Russia, England, any developed country in this fucking world, if we all put our fucking heads together, we could probably solve every fucking crisis there is.
Well, of course, I agree, but I don't see that ever happening.
I agree, actually.
Fuck no.
There's so much.
Not until aliens show up.
Yeah, honestly, yeah,
gonna be honest,
because
yeah.
as us as humans, I was talking to you a while back ago about how, or at least, no, wait, let me try to rephrase it. Jordan talks about tribalism or whatnot, or in your specific circle, you're always going to compete in that circle, and you're going to go against another group always. You know what I mean? And I think that's what, like in countries, that's why I believe we're never going to come together as a human species and solve, you know, our problems. But if aliens do come, then it's the humans versus the aliens. So,
Have you ever heard the theory?
I know you're going to get into it.
Have you ever heard the theory that Earth is a prison planet?
no, actually, I have not.
I'd fucking believe it.
No. So,
And whatever I did to get here, I'd do it again.
hang on. So the theory is that us Homo sapiens came from another planet. But the reason that we got shipped here is because we are too violent. We are a very violent species. Think about it, right? We're about the only species on this planet that we have to have exterior things to live. Think about it.
Wait, what do
you mean exterior things?
We have to have a house with heat. We have to have a house with AC.
Well, we don't have to.
We got well,
Hang on.
the U.S. have gone to the luxury, but third world countries and whatnot still live in like like huts and stuff, and like you know what I mean?
Okay, but a lot of these third world countries, what kind of climate do they have?
Warm. Yeah, you can't live in like the coldest place.
Exactly.
Or the hottest place.
Exactly. But animals that live in these environments were made to live in these environments.
Well, I would argue that their bodies adapted, yeah, but we as humans adapted our minds and overcame that through technology. So why would our bodies adapt when we made things in the world to like let us live everywhere?
I feel like Homo sapiens definitely have a niche, like a climate, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That we were meant to be maintained in. But anyway, I want to go back to what you were saying before, yeah.
So the theory is that us as Homo sapiens weren't made to be on this planet. The climate we're supposed to be in is very different.
Now I see what you're saying.
Okay?
Okay.
Because think about it. Animals that live in a cold environment, they have thicker coats.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Where's our insulation?
Right. So you're saying that somewhere out here on the infinite galaxy is a planet that's perfectly made for Homo sapiens. I mean, this theory, not you specifically, but is a planet that is more or less unanimously created for Homo sapiens. But our string of Homo sapiens are just fucking psychopaths, and so so we're basically Australia for the galaxy.
Yeah. I mean, and then but think about it, right?
I see what you're saying.
Look at all of, and there's also a theory that the reason that we're so tribal is, you know the whole theory about whenever all the lands were together and then a big thing shifting the tectonic plates shifted to where now we have the plot. Yeah. So the theory is if you look at a lot of like ancient history, Egypt, Aztecs, Mayans, all that, they all correlate one way or another, right?
Like connect, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all connect. And the theory is something happened in that time frame where we lost all that knowledge. Because think about it, how often do we talk about that we don't have
Yeah.
we don't have the knowledge that they had.
The pyramids, we have no idea how the fuck they did that shit.
It was by a brass chisel
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But we could say
and manpower.
Yeah, we say that, but then there's experts. I mean, like the biggest experts say that it's still a mystery. You know what I mean?
You mean the History
do I think
Channel?
aliens did it? No.
Fuck yeah.
But do I think that they had technology like you're saying right now that was lost generationally? Yeah, I think so. I'm not saying they had chainsaws, you know what I mean, or a sawmill. That's not what I'm saying. You know.
Time for me to get into my alien talk. I
No,
love
I
it.
knew it.
Okay,
I knew you were gonna get
so
into it.
look at hieroglyphs from Egypt, from the Aztecs,
Okay.
from the Mayans.
Yeah,
No,
I see it. Yeah. I know
fucking
shit.
smart asses. But if you look at it, there are depictions of flying saucers in those hieroglyphs.
Now, what do you think about people saying that most of and even in the Bible, like as a Christian, I understand that my current belief is you can't take everything in the Bible and pretend that it's the literal word of God and it hasn't been subject to misinterpretation and generational, deceit, realistically. But they didn't have glasses back then. And look how many people got glasses. Look at this. 2 out of 3 people in this room got glasses. Are you telling me you see a big ass eagle or or some weird looking cloud or whatever, and because back then they used like abstract to describe, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you think about that? Do you think it has anything to do with some of this stuff?
I mean, even with my glasses off, I'm going to be able to tell that the sun's a fucking circle, and I'm going to be able to tell that's a bird flying in the sky with wings.
Well, yeah, you can definitely differentiate the sun and a bird, but let's just say.
But we also knew I feel like you knew the sun was a sun before you objectively observed the sun. You know what I'm saying? Like
you can tell those two apart, but let's just say like a deformed a bird. You know what I mean? Or some shit. I don't know. Like.
So a deformed bird's going to look like a flying saucer?
If you don't have glasses.
Bro, no. I mean, the point you're making makes sense.
I hear you.
Right? I just hope aliens are real and that they help the Egyptians.
I feel like.
But if you think about it, right? The only way to perfectly cut stone today is water cutting. Mm-mm. That is the only way today to perfectly cut stone. You take a saw, it's going to still be a rough edge. Mm. Like you know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean, yeah.
You take a chisel.
Even a wet saw is still going to be rough.
Yeah. But these stones were cut at perfect angles.
And didn't they have like astronomical what's the word? Associations? Like measurements pointing out weird shit, you know?
Yeah, like the north
specific
and south.
stuff. Yeah, something
some
like
shit
that.
like that.
Something about the exact diagrams of planet Earth to like a ridiculous error margin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly
like,
what you mean. That's where I started to get like
that's why I believe that there was outside help.
And I definitely do think that, again, as a devout Christian, I definitely think that with as vast as this universe is, like upon whatever, it would be crazy if we were the only form of life. I'm not saying there's not other Homo sapiens. I'm not even saying there's an advanced civilization out there. I'm just saying the chances that we are the beginning origin of life.
What if like
it's pretty slim.
This is just one of God's experiments, you know what I mean? Imagine he has another one.
And that's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? And why the fuck would he tell us? You know what I mean? We can't even get our own shit straight. Why the hell would he tell us that you know what? I've heard people say that the second coming of Christ is going to come with the revelation of other intelligent life. You know what I'm saying? And that we're just not ready for it. We're like, you know what I'm saying? It's like the Avengers type shit. Like,
I mean,
we weren't ready for it. And then when we did this, we told the universe we're ready for greater adversaries. You know what I'm saying? I really feel like
I think we're a science project. And in all honesty, I think we're like if someone had an ant farm, right? I believe we are an ant farm to something else.
Right.
I'm not going to sit here and say who it is, what it is, blah 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 blah. But because if you think about it, before us was Neanderthals. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what but I mean, like, monkey type Homo sapiens. Aren't Neanderthals specifically like a branch off that failed, like the evolution dominance
Yeah.
or something like that?
I thought we
Technically,
killed them
no,
off.
because you still have people to this day that have Neanderthal traits in them.
Oh,
To this
I think
day.
I did hear that.
To this day. So my theory is that the creation of Homo sapien was another
Civilizations.
like if another civilization
forms.
life form came here, they were like, these people are strong, we're smart, what happens if we mix strong with smart? Boom.
So you're saying they like wiped out the tech or some shit like that? They like Men in Black.
Well, I mean, before Homo sapiens came along, there was no
That's fine. I see what you're saying.
Like the tech was, oh my god, fire,
Right.
oh my god, hatchet, like you know what I mean?
Bro, as soon as we started making tools, we won.
Well, I mean, look at chimpanzees, right? If you watch chimpanzees, they show a lot of traits of human activity,
Right.
using
Almost like we're cousins.
creating and using tools. Hey, like if you watch chimpanzees, you see the evolution of learning to make a tool or learning to do this or learning to do that.
Right.
Have you seen? I forget.
Planet of the Apes, yes, I have.
Yeah. No. I forget which animal it is. It's some type of something like a monkey, maybe a chimpanzee. I don't know. But they said like they would catch them by putting. I forget what it's called, but basically putting food into, or maybe it's salt food, into like a hole, and their hand can slip in.
Yes.
Their hand can slip in easily and grab it, but then once they make their fist, they can't get out, right? So
It was a trap.
yeah, it's a trap because they know that the chimpanzee or whatever animal, whatever
Monkey.
monkey it is, will not let it go because it's an idiot. You know what I mean? If it lets go, it can easily get out and escape capture, but it's not going to let go because, they're dumb. So yeah, they can use tools and stuff, but they can't.
Connect the dots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like,
It's like something about the neurons not connecting, not firing,
Or
like going all that stuff.
they're just not evolved.
I'm just saying,
and
if you can't let go of if you can't let go of the banana, you deserve to get caught.
yeah,
That's natural selection.
But
literally why we're
that's
here.
also, I would like to know. I would like to do more research about it. Dolphins, because they're like highly intellectual too.
I like to have sex for fun.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I know about them.
They also like eat pufferfish to get high.
Yeah.
Oh, I never.
I think they hit it. They hit it with their snout.
Oh, I've seen cartoons of that, like
Yeah.
depicting that.
Really?
Yeah.
But with that being said, I've also got other theories about aliens that I will gladly go into. Obviously, I've got 2 fucking alien tattoos.
Yeah, you
so,
are into this.
oh,
So you got deep into this, huh?
look at the Bob Lazar story.
The blah blah. Yeah, I've read that.
Bob Lazar,
Mhm.
Roswell.
Yeah.
You don't even know who Bob Lazar
Nah,
is.
he's playing with you.
Yeah.
I knew exactly.
All right.
I was like, ain't no way this man
All right.
knows what that is, yo.
Okay, so have you ever heard of Los Alamos?
No.
It's
Los
in New
Alamos?
Mexico. It's like a
I kinda,
missile
it sounded
testing place.
Sound like a-
Mexico. Sounded like the Alamo. My bad.
Sounded
But-
racist.
Anyways, he worked there. There was a news article, a paper article, where he put a jet motor on a Honda Civic, right?
Like a plane jet.
Yes,
Wild.
like a plane jet motor. Like there's a news article from him being there. So the story goes that he went and worked at Area 51 and was working on some out of this world technology.
That radio
What-
transmission is
what-
what we talk about.
No.
So wait. He was working on out of the world technology.
Yeah, like they were trying to reverse engineer it.
Okay.
And he came out about it. And once he came out about it, he didn't exist no more. He's still alive to tell the story, but if you look up, you can't find him in the records of Columbia University where he graduated from with a PhD. You can't find him on the records of working at Los Alamos, even though there's people that remember him there. There's a news article that says Los Alamos employee.
But he's alive.
Yeah, he's alive to this day because they can't take him out because if they take him out, it's too obvious. Think about it. If if I were to
Right.
come out and I knew some crazy shit, and I came out and said, I'm gonna fucking kick you in the shin.
sorry.
But
it's a habit.
But if I come out and say, blah blah blah, and the next day I'm dead, what are you gonna think?
Well, yeah, but it would be the same type of thing. If you killed him and then erased his identity, then I feel like you would have the perfect crime. But like, why would they erase his identity? So why isn't he chirping still?
It's still.
He still is chirping. He's been on Rogan. There's a full documentary about him.
And
I
so
would
what
say-
he talks about how he can't prove any, like how he can't find any of his records or some shit like that, like
Yeah.
online. That's crazy.
I would still
have to see
say-
this.
I would say that him dying, him or getting killed off, is way more like it's
Final.
better than for him not existing on paper and then also talking on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
Well,
Like-
dude, there's a whole documentary about him on Netflix.
And he's
Yeah,
not
I
a
know.
fraud.
So
Like, how
that's
does
why-
so if his records are gone, how does he prove that he did all this?
Because you had two investigative journalists that did the story,
Okay.
and they both went and found people that remember him going to college with him and graduating, that remember him working here, remember him working there.
Bro, that sounds like a perfect story, just like Epstein, bro. This reminds me of like there's only been a few conspiracies that I've heard, and then been like, yo, there's probably, I'm not saying they're right, but there's probably truth behind this one,
Epstein definitely killed himself.
because I want to stay alive. Yeah, I know what you mean.
But no, like,
Epstein?
No, I hear you. That's crazy.
but I mean, there's so much stuff behind even aliens that it's like, nothing can sit here and tell me that there's not aliens.
Right. And so now, let's say for the sake of the topic of conversation that aliens exist. Now, do you think they have for sure the same type of assurance contacted Earth, and that not all of it, but some portion of the evidence we have for it displays that? Is that what you like? Do you think that?
Yes.
That's cool. I can't have a strong opinion. I really can't.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen enough of it.
Well,
I don't have a
see, I
strong
mean,
opinion either.
so, like, and this goes into like ancient religion, right?
Yeah.
Like, think about it. In ancient religions, you had multiple gods for multiple things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Greek mythology, Egyptian mythology, Roman mythology, paganism, Nordic pagan. Like, you have different gods for different things. What if in all reality these gods were just extraterrestrial life that came down, and that is like how they had their proof to follow said God? Not in
No, I hear you.
because I mean, you got modern day religion that you have all these different religions that follow one singular God. Like think about it. This isn't me shitting on any religion either.
No, of course not.
You know, you got the Muslims, you got Hindus, you got Buddhists, Christians, Judaism, blah.
I would try to argue that if like those aliens did come out as gods, like in ancient civilizations, well, what happened to them? Why aren't they relatively
what made them
present
stop?
now? What is it because?
What about the Crusades?
So you think that we killed them off?
No way.
The Mayans ain't here. No, I mean, yeah, the Mayan and Aztecs, they just poof disappeared.
Did they?
There's no regulation.
Oh no, I've read about or watched a documentary about them, and the theory, I think the leading theory is that like pestilence killed them, like when the Spaniards came, it just wiped them out in droves.
Yeah.
You know, by like generations worth dead.
Yeah, I mean, look
But-
at the Mayans and
I hear you.
Aztecs.
I haven't.
They
I need to
worship
watch that documentary.
they even worship multiple gods. Like think about Native Americans, right? Native Americans believe in like the spirit realm, believe like different animals represent different things.
Jordan Peterson has a series of lectures about the change from polytheism to monotheism, and not necessarily how Christianity led the charge. Because I think he's actually very adamant that Christianity didn't, because Judaism came first. You know what I mean? But the Abrahamic religions, how he led the charge. And I wish I I don't wish, because I like what I'm focusing on right now. You know, like the stuff that's more pertained to my life right now. But that's definitely on my list of things to look into. You know,
Yeah.
The shift from polytheism to monotheism is certainly interesting.
I
But
mean,
I haven't heard that aliens making up, the polytheistic gods.
well, so like the polytheistic gods, that's like my own theory. That's not something that like I've read before.
I see. Okay.
That's my own theory in my head because like think
No, I hear
about
you.
these ancient cultures that depict
No, I understand.
extraterrestrial life, and these gods are animalistic humanoids.
Right.
They're not humanoid. It's not we were made in their creation or so on and so forth.
I thought you were
No.
introducing to us the deeper.
No,
but I
bro.
agree.
But,
I
but
understand.
no,
But
this
I'm not
is just-
discrediting it. Yeah, for sure.
This is just my thinking of. I grew up Methodist.
What is that? Sorry.
It's a form of Christianity.
Protestant. You can call it similar to like Baptist, or
Just not
It's
as
Christian.
extreme.
like that. It's Christian. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not non-Catholic Christian.
Yeah. And so I grew up in church. And then as I got older, I started questioning.
You
And-
got a question.
That's
yeah,
true.
Got to.
yeah, but my questioning turned me to be an agnostic.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
But I believe there's a higher power. But then my mind also is like, but how do I know Hinduism isn't the right one?
Right.
How do I know that Buddhism isn't the right? Well, being a Buddhist isn't Buddhism. My bad. I always say it fucking wrong. How do I know Muslim isn't right? How do I know Judaism isn't right? How do I know that Christianity is the true one? How do I know it isn't the true one? Like, because you have all these different religions that preach, if you don't follow this, this is what's going to happen to you.
Right.
You know?
And that's all it comes. Well, at least I know for Christianity. I'm not sure about the other religions, but like faith.
Yeah, but
It's
just
all
having
based
faith,
on faith, and that's
but
wild.
It's all that's
Un-
my thing. Is it's all based on faith.
Yeah.
Unrelenting faith,
Yes.
and
And
that is
And I think this is where it comes through. I think a lot of Christians like to say, no matter what you choose, whether or not you're atheist and you are truly just believe in like the science and the human perspective and experience of life, that you're practicing some amount of faith. And while I say, sure, you know what I mean, but they're not trying to pretend that something exists without evidence of it. You know what I'm saying? Or like the scientific evidence. They choose a certain perspective to perceive and experience the world, and they do it that way. It's the same type of ways Christians and Buddhists and anybody else, whatever. Like right now, my time, like where I'm at in life right now, and
I'm a fucking asshole. I forgot to switch the camera over. I was sitting here listening to you and
you
got
just
zoned
nodding
in.
and stuff like that. No,
But-
it's good. No, for me is like where I think I have my understanding with this now is I grew up Christian. Actually, I grew up Catholic. My parents had a divorce when I was like, or it was very long divorce, and even before the divorce, they argued for years and years. So it was like, I was like in my young teens or like mid-teens, whatever. We transitioned over to as a family to Christian, and so then you can say to myself like, oh, so then when did you decide to become Christian, not Catholic? Or rather non-Catholic Christian or whatnot. Where I'm standing at right now with my faith is that I almost choose it like it's like an RPG video game. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily believe, like if you put me in a polygraph and they're like, do you believe that Jesus rose from the dead and died from your sins like 3 days later, all this other stuff? Like, am I going to say a whole cold hard proof? Do I believe that? Like no, obviously I have doubts, like obviously I consider evidence that are for other religions and other beliefs and experiences and perspectives. But I choose this belief system because of the values and teachings that it has instilled in me, and the walk it allows me to walk. I feel like I have the capability of loving more people and affecting the world in a more positive way with this type of stuff. And I choose to believe it. I choose to want to believe it and to learn it because of how it affects my life and how it allows me to affect other people. The way it allows me to live my life because of the values that I have from it. I can't think of a single time that I've ever chosen a Christian value that was contrary to something that I believed. Like, for example, at no point in my life did I ever think that for sure 100% gay marriage is sin. And anybody who's gay is going to go to hell no matter what. It makes it very clear. Way more than it says potentially that homosexuality is sinful if you repent of your sins to Jesus Christ and you believe in him, you will go to heaven. I think that's the most important. Actually, no, I take it back. That's the second most important. I think the most important is to love. And he makes that very clear. And that's where I take that lesson. That's why I choose, Christianity. Granted, I understand in terms of my experience with other religions and other cultures, very slim. I've known a few Jews, I've known a few like Muslims or whatever, but never anything like intimate like obviously I have with Christianity. So, in a perfect world, I'd be able to choose, like there's an equal opportunity for each one, So I would just encourage anybody who has doubts for whatever value system, I would say it's better to shoot for one or at least form your own, not rigid, but list of values rather than just floating around.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Having a good set of
Like
morals and values.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like if you don't know each and every day that your actions are right or wrong within yourself and your set of values, whether they're rooted in the Bible or the Quran or minerals in the earth and the alignment of the planets, I think you're lost. And that's what we were talking about earlier today, saying that if you're not moving towards something, you're drifting towards nothing.
And I want to ask, because the morals and the stories that the morals that come out of the stories of the Bible, right? I remember watching Joe Rogan podcast or a snippet where he gets angry at someone. I believe he grew up a Catholic, correct? And he, at that time, I'm not sure how he feels about it now, but at that time he was very much against, he was anti-Catholic, anti-Bible or whatever. He had someone who was Catholic and whatnot, and the whole argument was that he said, okay, you don't have to believe in any of these stories. You don't have to believe that they're true, but for Joe Rogan, he's like, but I know you're an intellectual, and I know these stories have morals that people should align with, and he was just adamantly against it.
He being Joe Rogan?
Joe Rogan, yeah. Joe Rogan was just fighting him, saying I forget the whole thing, but it's just I believe in the stories and the morals. I really need to go to church or some shit.
No, I hear you. So are you saying that? Are you saying
Uh,
that he was contrary to his own personal values or something like that? Is that what you're saying?
No, that he was just because of how the Catholic Church itself was so. I don't know the whole story behind it, the history behind Catholics or whatnot, but apparently it's bad, and he said he was because it came out being bad or the history or whatnot, that he was very adamantly against it, and the fact that. I guess what I'm trying to say is that the morals and the stories still are good.
Yeah.
And you should.
I mean,
take it for what's worth.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could say I'm biased because I had bad experiences in church, right?
For sure.
And but at the same time, the way I see it is if you need something to tell you how to be a good person, were you a good person to begin with? Not downgrading anybody,
No,
right? But
that's fine.
but think about it, right? You got the 10 Commandments that tell you how to be a good person. I feel like every person is born knowing how to be a good person.
I would disagree.
Exactly, and that's what I'm not saying. I land on either side. For me, I'm in the middle. I see both. But no, I understand what you're saying.
I wouldn't say they're bad. My bad. I don't want to interrupt you.
I mean, I get where you're coming from. I'm not meaning to knife hand you, but
oh shit, yeah, what the fuck, bro?
But no, I get where you're coming from.
Sorry,
but look at racism, right? Watch kids growing up together. They don't see color. They don't see color until it's instilled in them.
See, I would somewhat disagree on that. I would disagree because I think kids, because kids are growing up in this wild environment, right? And if they're trying to move up in the hierarchy or whatever, it's the kid hierarchy or whatever, they will definitely look at oddballs and make fun of them. Make fun of not just people of different color, but deaf people with
what age group are we talking here, right?
That's what
because I'm talking about children. I'm talking about 2, 3, 4-year-olds, right?
And we're not even talking about age. We're talking about society, and culture.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about is having these values of making fun of someone because they're different than you is instilled in you from watching other kids make fun of the same person.
And I would say, my bad, that it's up to the parent. So if the parent's ignorant, I guess, you, okay, yeah, I would. Oh,
it's
God.
good. No,
a whole
it's what we're
fucking
talking
loop.
about.
Yeah, a whole fucking loop. Yes, if the parent's ignorant and like doesn't correct that, then because like if my child did that, if my child like I see my child bullying someone of a different color or someone like that has deformity or is like death or whatnot, I would correct it. Be like, hey, you're not better than that person or that child. Yeah,
110%. That's what I'm saying.
So
though.
it is. Still, I wouldn't say kids grow up good. You know what I mean?
But I feel like at the same time you are because you're innocent. You don't know yet what's right or wrong.
Innocent is, I would say, it's different.
Hang on.
Than being mean or whatnot, or bad and good.
But what I'm saying though is you see this example a lot, right? You watch two kids that grew up together, right?
Mm-hmm.
One being white, one being Hispanic. But then,
hey baby, what's up?
And then you turn around and you have the Hispanic kid that grows up in a house that can't stand white people. Or you have the white kid grow up in a house that can't stand Hispanic people. And once the family's real, you know, they hear the language all the time. Fucking gringos or fucking Hispanics or fucking Mexicans. Or
come on, say what you want to say. Damn, what? My bad.
No. But for the fact of having a civil conversation, I'm not going to be in a situation where I say a slur that I don't believe in saying myself.
No, I hear you.
But what I'm saying though is you have this kid who has a friend who is of a different ethnicity, but then they grow up in a household that is very racist towards said ethnicity. Then you see that friendship turning away because they're being showed that hate.
I think I would love to see this. Like, there's ways that we can measure, and we have multiple times for psychological studies and stuff like that, like preschool level kids, like babies, basically, right? It's gotta exist. I don't know why we haven't talked about it yet, but it's gotta exist. What happens if you take preschool level kids who have never been introduced to other races and then all of a sudden mix them in a playpen with kids of other races? I don't know what the answer is. I would assume. My assumption is that they wouldn't treat each other. They would be able to recognize there's something innate in the human DNA, the human experience, observation, that you could observe a human being, and then therefore interact with it just like you would any other human being. But once you hit a certain age, and again, it comes to what you're saying, like the generational beliefs, you know, and what your parents either instill into you or fail to instill into you. A lot of times after a certain age, Jordan Peterson talks about, if you don't get your kids socialized by 4 or 5, they are going to be an outcast and suffer horrifically in cases, you know, from the cruelty or the cruelty of the society of other kids. And then they say after 12 years old that you have lost 90% of your influence over your child in most cases, and that from that point on they will be raised by the friends and the circles that they choose to put themselves into. And so when it comes to that, is like, I wonder what happens to like these southern boys that live in rural towns, and then for the first time they go to college or high school or something like that, and they get introduced to a black kid for the first time. And I'm sure that happened all over the country, you know, in the 1900s. You know what I mean? I bet, yeah. And here, you know what I mean? You were just talking about how there's probably 4 people in your whole town who aren't white, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I bet there's kids who don't see somebody who's not white, and they got to stop and ask, you know? And I feel like that's pretty regular.
My bad. I'm gonna be honest. When I came here, of course, it's bum. You know. Yeah,
this is bumfuck Egypt.
Yeah. Being in deployment with like people who spouted that there's constant racism around. I came in here thinking I was gonna get discriminated against. I thought people were gonna look at me differently and like whatever. But when I went to the town, when I went to the gas station, like everything, it was chilled. People were really cool. Like really, really cool. And I'm just like, why, like, why did I feel like I'm gonna get discriminated against?
Well,
you know?
which, racism still is an issue in this country.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It
yeah.
110% is.
I think it'll always be.
But
Oh, yeah.
at the same time, I don't think it's the same issues that we had before
of
the
course
civil
not.
rights
I don't think
movement.
it's nearly the same. I think it's more of a.
Exactly.
I would say more of a bias.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
I think it's a media issue. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
completely honest.
Really?
And I take a similar approach to Morgan Freeman. And he says this. He says, "How do you stop racism at this point? He
Stop
said,
talking about it."
Stop talking about it."
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that black kids who get wrongfully hunted down by racist cops and brutally beaten or murdered or whatever should not go unpunished or unpublicized. That's not what I'm saying. Like, clearly, and I think I think we have a policing issue. I think there's definitely room to grow. I think police do more good than harm, obviously, and I think that goes to show for most communities across the country. But there's definitely things wrong. There's definitely things that need to be fixed, and that needs to be addressed 100%. But I really do think that we have eliminated racism as a systemic issue, and that at this point on, it's hunted down the outliers. And I think that's what we need to start considering it being.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of the issues that we have whenever we're talking about these lower income communities,
And that's exactly what I'm talking about.
in the inner cities or wherever, right?
Yeah.
Is these people got to do what they got to do to get by. And then that's whenever and you also have households. It doesn't matter what color,
Right.
with absent fathers.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. It has so much more to do with economics and geography than it does race.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I feel like it's a more of a class issue than a race issue. But the fact remains is that because of our history and whatnot, that people of color have got the lower end of the stick.
And
So it's more frequent for them to be of a lower class.
And I understand too, like I hate saying we, and I hate attributing. Like, I would never say to a black man here that, and we forced you guys in the cities. Like, no, I hate that I say that, but I do. And everybody does. But white people definitely did force them into ghettos. Obviously, force them into inner cities and stuff like that. And I get that, and I get that that's wrong. And there's something to be said for what's the term for paying that back? When they're saying
reprimands.
reparations.
Reparations.
That's what I'm saying.
Reparations, reprimands.
Reprimand's a punishment, but like
Yeah.
reparations.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about that. And how should it look? Should it look like a tax reduction? Should it look like increased representation in Ivy League colleges? Should it look like food stamps? Whatever it is, I don't have that answer. There's definitely something that should be done about these inner city communities and stuff like that. And some people say it starts from inside. Some people say it starts from the outside. I think that if we start from both sides and work our way in, it's going to be a solution.
Honestly, I 100% believe it starts from the inside, because the reason a lot of these inner cities are bogged down the way they are is because of the fact how many times have you been to Baltimore or any inner city and been told, hey, don't go to this side of the town at this time?
Yeah.
Like
I
you
don't
get that
travel a lot.
You get that in Martinsburg too.
yeah.
Oh.
But what I'm saying though is something's got to be done in the community to make it a safe place, to make money, to make investors want to come into the community.
Yeah.
Right.
But to me, that for me, I hear that, and like not even like the devil's advocate portion of it. You know what I mean? I just hate taking a position like that without having an idea for the solution. You know?
Oh, I've gotten the only idea for the solution, and this is not the only way you solve violence is to crack down harder on it. That I mean, granted, let me backpedal real
No,
quick.
go ahead. We'll go ahead.
Whenever I say crack down on it harder, I don't mean just go fucking guns a-blazing.
Right.
But something's got to be done to make the community feel like they're united.
Right.
A lot of communities don't feel united because they're in the middle of this side of the street thinks it should be this way. This side of the street's running it here. They cross paths. Oh, fuck. Now we're getting fucking shot up. Or you got people doing what they got to do to make ends meet. Hence, that's where the drug hustle comes in 9 times out of 10, and people make more money from selling drugs than they would ever make working a 9 to 5.
Yeah, especially well, I'm guessing in those kind of cities, there's not many jobs available anyways. I'm guessing. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like there are.
I've never
been to Chicago or Detroit, but like,
I feel like there's some businesses don't go in there. No business is going to set up there, like in a bad area.
But why
to
is that?
create jobs.
it's because
Why is a business not going to go into a bad area?
Yeah, because they're
organized crime.
Yeah.
But organized crime's always been an issue in this
That's what I'm
country.
saying, yeah.
Think about prohibition.
Yeah.
Think about whenever they started making street drugs illegal in this country. Because think about it. At one point in this country, heroin was legal, cocaine was legal,
Yeah.
morphine was 100% legal.
But once you get to a certain point, you can't just legalize every crime and then pretend like it's
No.
the world's a better place because no one's committing crime. But that's just because murder's
Well, at
legal.
least
But that's
But I
all-
know what you mean. Yeah.
Like,
There's got to be a line somewhere. In
yeah,
terms of drugs.
there has to be a line somewhere.
Yeah.
Because a lot of organized crime is wrapped around what?
Pot. Or you mean just like drugs in general?
Drugs in general.
Yeah.
It's wrapped around heroin, fentanyl, cocaine, weed.
Yeah. I feel like pot.
And all these other drugs that are class 2 drugs.
I really wonder why pot's illegal, man.
Yo,
I
we
really
know
wonder.
why.
I mean,
I don't.
I
don't.
I mean, there's racist ideology behind
And
it.
I've heard that before too. And
I feel
just
like it was politicized. I'm not sure what era or what presidency really politicized it and made it.
Talking to the mic a little bit more.
Oh, my bad. I think maybe Reagan. No, I don't think Reagan, but some president. I feel maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not sure if I'm entirely right. That someone politicized it for the war against drugs.
It was Reagan.
Reagan.
yeah, I thought
Technically, it was Nancy Reagan.
Well, either way,
But-
I feel like that's politicized it, and it still continues on today.
I
Which,
just don't
which
get it.
we
Well, here,
shouldn't be.
well, think about it. Most people locked up are locked up on drug charges.
That's what I'm saying. It's insane.
Okay, people are
My
getting
taxpayer
hard-
dollars are going to pot dealers
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
is
instead of
ridiculous.
rapists and pedophiles.
But like,
Kidnappers. I just saw a story that a kidnapper got 5 years, kidnapped someone for 7 years, and had 5 years and got on probation. Like, what?
yeah. Well, I mean, dude, the United States justice system could use one hell of a restructuring.
Yeah, I agree with you.
One hell of a restructuring.
Same with our political party system.
Well, look at is it Sweden or Switzerland? It's Norway. Boom. Too easy. But their justice system is right. You get locked up once, you pretty much get put in a fucking dormitory and you go through like trade school.
Like rehab.
Like a rehab. You get locked up a second time, you do it again. A third time, okay, now you go to prison. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they set you up so that you're not institutionalized.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
'Cause
That
we
does
got-
sound really good. Because as soon as you get locked up for some dumb, petty,
Petty theft
or selling drugs
or
you know what I mean?
possession.
Yeah. You're instantly, you got locked up, and people are less likely to hire you. But if we had that type of system, I feel like it would help out. Oh, you've made a mistake in your life, but now it seems like you can, you're reformed necessarily.
I've also heard about kids going to jail on something petty like that. You know what I mean? Or even just like assault, and then like having a hard go at it in jail, and then having to resort to joining a gang or forming some sort of organization, joining something like that.
Yeah.
And then coming back up and then getting even more involved in crime than they were ever going to.
Well, so 9 times out of a lot of times people become institutionalized.
Yeah.
Think about it. You're told when to get up. You're told when to shower. You get 3 meals a day for free. I mean, it's not an ideal life.
No, of course not.
But think about it.
Yeah.
What do you have to worry about?
Yeah, I hear people who are homeless, they intentionally try to get in prison because they will live a better
I've
life
heard that too.
in prison.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not just that. There's a lot of people that choose the homeless life because of the fact that you're not paying into anything.
Right.
I mean, it's a hard life.
And that's why we're saying, like, I've heard guys that talk about, like even my older relatives talk about, oh, jail should be such a bad place. I'm not saying we should commit war crimes or like, dehumanize these guys and girls, but jail should be a bad enough place for it to be a true deterrent for most crimes that go to that place. Well, obviously, we don't want to be forcing hard labor on a kid for possession or like petty theft or something like that. And that's why we need a difference. Something you just talked about, like in Norway. We really do need to differentiate between people who need rehabilitation and who need punishment. And it's not so much about the punishment; it's about the deterrence, like the true, honest deterrence on it.
With that being said, we're gonna cut this thing off because your all's camera just died.
Oh, no way!
Yeah, but we've
Piece
been
of
going
shit.
for like an hour and a half.
Yeah,
so
we've been going.
I'm gonna let you guys say some closing remarks, and we're gonna wrap this old girl up.
Let's see.
Well, I'll go ahead and start real quick. And like I say again, Wilson, bro, it was an absolute honor. When I first heard about your podcast, I always thought that'd be pretty cool. And the whole time we were over in Poland, we were having talks like these every single day. Every day, multiple times a day. We had 20-hour weeks, absolutely nothing to do except drink and talk, just like this. Out in the barracks. I know we weren't supposed to, but hey, confession. Sorry, LT. Sorry for starting. We drank in the barracks, and that's why we got in trouble.
We're doing the
But
same thing.
maybe another time we'll talk about our villain era. But no, it's an absolute honor to talk about these multiple topics. Maybe next time we can have we can come in here for maybe a shorter list of topics and really get deeper into them. But it was a great entrance.
Yeah. No, I definitely enjoyed. Thank you. Thank you for having me on. It was experience. I've learned I need to communicate a little bit better. I would say, and this definitely helped me a lot to process what I say and what I think. But I think that's it. I'm getting very flustered.
Hey, you're good. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you guys for coming on so last second. If you could, go check out our website at thewilsonkingpodcast.com. You can find every single one of our episodes there. You can also find all of our episodes on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Also, check us out on YouTube. This will be on YouTube as well as all the other streaming platforms we have. Also, if you could, go check us out on Buy Me a Coffee. Donate to the show if you'd like. You don't have to, but it'd be cool if you did, because then we can continue to bring you awesome content all the time. And with that being said, everyone have a great rest of your week. Be safe. Be responsible. Don't drink and drive. Peace.